Hi everyone, I'm Cameron and I'm a Math 45 tutor here at Fresno City. Today we're going to look at problem number 17 in chapter 3. It's dealing with the divider-chooser method. Okay, so in problem 17 we are given a sandwich with 3 flavors and we have Martha and Nick who are getting ready to divide the sandwich among themselves. So if we look at the text, we see that Martha values the ham flavor twice as much as she values turkey, and she values turkey and ham the same. So our first job in this problem is to actually write that in math terms. Okay, we want to go from the English into math. So we want to take the flavor that she values the least, and we're just going to call that x. So in this case, she likes the ham more than the turkey, so we'll call the turkey x. We also know that the roast beef and turkey are valued equally, so we can call them actually both x. Okay, and since she likes ham twice as much as turkey, we're going to call that 2x. Okay, we'll also see a similar value system for Nick, except he likes roast beef twice as much as turkey, so we call the roast beef 2x, the turkey x, and then ham is also equal to turkey, so that's going to be x as well. Now let's look at the sandwich that we're trying to divide. We have our ham flavor, our turkey flavor, and our roast beef flavor. The problem tells us that the sandwich is 32 inches long total, with the flavors ending at the 10-inch mark, the 22-inch mark, and then the 32-inch mark. And we're also told that the sandwich costs $21. Okay, so part A of this problem asks us, how would Martha cut the sandwich? Okay, so now we need to figure out how Martha, under the rules of divider-chooser method, would cut a fair sandwich. So to do that, we need to keep in mind that the divider is always going to cut as many shares as we have players. Okay, that way it's equal. If you and I were going to split a cake, you would expect half, and I would expect half. So it's the same idea here. Now, it's not as easy as just cutting the sandwich into 2 halves because she values the flavors differently. So before we do anything, let's figure out what that value of half the sandwich would be. We want to find the dollar amount that our fair share is worth. So we're told that it's $21 total. So we're just going to take our $21 sandwich, divide that into two parts, and that gives us a fair share that is worth $10.50. Okay, so that's our goal. We're going to go ahead, put a pin in that. We'll come back to that later. Okay. So now our job is to figure out, where is Martha going to make this cut? How is she going to cut $10.50 worth of sandwich out of the given information here? So what we need to do is we need to figure out how much each inch is worth, basically. Okay, so to do that, we're going to remember that our roast beef and turkey are worth the same, and our ham is actually worth a little bit more. So since the turkey and roast beef are worth the same, we're just going to call that x. And so we actually have 10 to 22, that's 12 inches, plus another 10 inches that are worth whatever x is worth. So we're just going to call that 10 times x. Okay, and to that we're going to add whatever the ham is worth. So we have 10 inches of ham, and remember the ham is worth 2x. So we're going to say we have 10 times 2x. Okay, and that is going to equal our total of $21. Okay, and actually it's not 10 inches of x, it is 22 inches. So let's fix that. Okay, 22 inches comes from the 12 plus the 10. Okay, so now we have a problem that we can solve to find the value of x. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our algebra skills to use. So we have 22x plus 20x. That's going to give us, or equal to 21. We combine the like terms, we get 42x equals $21. And if we solve for x, we divide by the 42 here, we get a value of x equals 0.5. In other words, every inch that is worth x is worth 50 cents. Okay, so now we can take that term and actually plug it back in to figure out what this piece of the sandwich is worth and what this piece of the sandwich is worth. So let's start with the turkey and roast beef. The term we came up for the turkey and roast beef was 22x. So we can just do 22 times 0.5. Remember, that's what x equals. And so we get a total value of $11. Okay, so this piece right here is worth $11. Okay, so now we can go ahead and we can actually find the value of the ham. So remember, the ham is 10 times 2x. So we do 10 times 2 times 0.5, 2 times x. Okay, if we solve for that, we actually just end up with 10. Okay, so this part here is worth $10. Okay, so we're a little bit closer to figuring out how Martha's going to cut this sandwich, but we're not quite there yet. So let me make some room here. Okay, so now we know that this part of the sandwich is worth 10. This part is worth 11. So what we need to do to get a piece that's worth 10.50 is we actually need to cut a little bit of this part off and add it to this piece. Okay, so we're actually going to set up a proportion, figure out how much of the sandwich to cut. So we know we want a small portion that's worth 50 cents to come out of the total, which is worth $11. Okay, we want that to equal the inches that we're going to cut out of the total inches of 22. So now we have our proportion here. We can just cross multiply to solve for x. So we're going to do 22 times 0.5, 11 times x. 11x equals $11. We solve for x, and we get a value of x equals 1 inch. Okay. So that means we're going to cut 1 inch out of the turkey section and add it to this 10 inches of ham. Okay, so the way we would answer this problem is we would say that Martha would cut one piece that goes from 0 inches to 11 inches and call that S1. And she'd make another piece, or the second cut would be from that 11 mark to the end of the sandwich. So we'd have 11 all the way to 32. So as you can see, we can't just cut it 50-50 because she has different value systems for the flavors. So if we clean up the answer here, this is our final answer. S1 would be from 0 to 11 inches. S2 would be from 11 to 32 inches. Okay, so now we can actually come and figure out part B. Okay, and part B states which piece would Nick choose and what's its value. Okay, so we can actually set up, we want to find the total value of each section of sandwich for Nick, just like we did for Martha. So we're going to create the same equation. We're going to have our x and our 2x. We're going to set that equal to $21, and it's going to be exactly the same as what we did for Martha. Okay, so I'll let you guys do that on your own. We're going to get to an answer of, again, x equals 0.5. Okay, so again, what that means is every x inch of sandwich, or every inch of sandwich that is worth x, is going to be worth 50 cents. Okay, so for Nick, that means that our roast beef section here is going to be worth $10. Okay, and the rest of the sandwich is going to be $11. Okay, so that's his total value system, but we're dealing with S1 and S2. We need to figure out, of these two pieces, which one is he going to choose. So let's use some logic here. Okay, we know that Nick likes roast beef more than any other flavor. Okay, so let's consider which piece has that roast beef. Remember, Martha cut from 0 to 11, and she cut from 11 to 32. So S2 is actually the piece that has the roast beef. So logically, he should choose that one. Let's prove it, though. Let's prove that that's really the piece that he'll choose. Okay, we want to do that by figuring out the value. Okay, so to do that, we're going to come up with the same idea here. We want to have our 10 inches of turkey, because remember, we cut a small section here, so we have 10 inches left of turkey, and turkey is worth X amount. So we'll say we have 10 times X to represent this section here, okay? And then we have the roast beef section, which is worth 2X, and again, we have 10 inches of roast beef. So we'll say plus 10 times 2X. Okay, and we don't know what that equals yet, so we're just going to say it equals y. Okay, now we have two variables. Okay, we have x and y, but that's okay because we actually know the value of x. So all we have to do is plug 0.5 in wherever we see x. Okay, so we'll get 10 times 0.5 plus 10 times 2 times 0.5. Again, 2 times x, okay? That's going to equal the value of slice 2 in Nick's eyes. So we'll just go ahead and solve these. We have $5 right here plus $10 right here. And that gives us a total of $15. Okay, so now we know that S2 is worth $15 to him. That leaves the rest of the $21 for S1. So let's just make sure that that's actually worth less. So we have 21 minus the $15 of S2. Okay, we can just solve for that. Get 11 minus 5, that gives us 6 and 0. So the rest of the sandwich would just be worth $6. So he would choose S2, and S2 would be worth $15. Thanks for watching.